these little kids. They had local graphic novel club, and they had their little comics for free.
Potato Cat Deep Fried.
Criminal Besties is definitely the standout of the three.
Yeah.
Gotta say. It's also a really good name.
The Tale of a Ice Cream Dude 2.
Yeah, he was like, I only have one copy left of issue 1. So I was like, can I stand here and read it so I know it's up? And he's like, yeah. So I read through issue. I couldn't tell you what happened.
You're
That's
current.
good. You don't want to lose your context for
Exactly.
The Tale of a Ice Cream Dude.
Is that written by like a 5-year-old?
He was somewhere between 5 and 17.
Okay.
Impossible to tell. Underbaked, overproved. This is issue 350 of the Insert Credit Audio Magazine, a show where a panel of video game experts would probably talk forever if not for a horrible buzzer. I'm Alex Jaffe, and 3 of my top words to put in a video game title are super, deluxe, and of.
Ooh, of. That's a good one. My name's Frank Spaldi. 3 really cool words to put into a video game title. God, those are, I don't know if I could beat the first 2 at least. I think Ultra is a little better than Super.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like upping the stakes. So Ultra. Just maybe continuing on a Street Fighter thing. I think Hyper is really good too. And how about this? Collection.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, it's all about value for Frank.
No, it's all about, that is probably the most common word in any game that I've worked on.
I'm Tim Rogers, and 3 words that I would like to put in the name of a game, or 3 words that are just good to have in a name of a game for me.
Good to have in the name of a game.
And it can't be proper nouns such as Castlevania, like obviously, right?
No, it's got to be a real dictionary Scrabble word.
A regular old word.
You got to get Castlevania in the dictionary.
Well, I would say
Hurry up, Miriam.
Dragon.
Oh, that's a good one.
Quest. And let's go ahead and say adventure. The word adventure is good.
Yeah.
But if I were ranking them, the word quest is definitely number 1. Not going to make any Quest 64 jokes here, but a quest is just a good word.
I actually think that's better than any of the ones that Alex or I had. So bravo.
Oh, yeah. So now it's time for Brandon to say bonk and adventure. Yeah. I left adventure for you.
Thanks. You left revenge for me.
Yeah, both of them. So
I don't think that I'm going to do a very good job on this one. I'm going to get more in the Jaffe zone. I'm going to put plus in there.
Okay.
Because I do like when a game comes out with another version and it's a little different. So that's cool. I'm going to put in Ridge. It's a very narrow field, but I'm putting Ridge in there. And then, what's my last one? I'm struggling today.
Yo mama?
X.
That's not one word.
Well, X isn't a word. It's a modifier for the words. And so is plus. I think I failed. Failed. So at the end,
all right.
I lose.
Brandon, there's still plenty of time for you to catch up.
Do you like how I asked for a clarification on Castlevania immediately before saying Dragon and Quest, which I think was
that's good.
Yeah, good joke construction.
That was on purpose.
And by the way, Jaffe, if you want, some time ago you asked me because I got three snake movies that had 3 snake facts pasted inside of them.
Oh, good. This is for bonus content, though. So.
But I could do 1 per episode for the next 3 episodes if you want.
I like that idea. Yeah. Let's open this episode with a snake fact.
All right. So first, you said also I had to review a movie.
Yeah.
So just to give some context, I was trying to purchase one movie that features a snake woman in it, and the only way I could buy it was to buy 3 in a lot. And to my surprise, in each of these DVDs came a snake fact card, because the fellow who put it together, I guess, was interested in snakes and snake women or something.
Oh, it's like a snake enthusiast who collected snake movies and passed the savings on to you.
Exactly. So that was fun. Anyway, the first movie that I watched from this was Night of the Cobra Woman, directed by Andrew Meyer, but more importantly, produced by Roger Corman, who you may know as
the king of B
part
movies.
of his churn of cheap and quick movies with some sort of interesting theme. This one is about a lady played by Marlene Clark who got bitten by a weird cobra and can now turn into a snake to remain internally young, but in order to do that, she needs a supply of snake venom and young men to drain the energy from in sexy form.
So she needs the snake venom to be a snake, and she needs the man juice to be a human.
Yeah, to be a human and to be young.
Okay.
I think. But it's the acting's terrible. The worst actor is the leading lady, Joy Bang, and it's just like super slow. The plot, camera, editing, everything's languid and boring. If you like seeing naked people, this has some of that. That's about all it's got, really. Roger Corman wrote a book called How I Made 100 Movies in Hollywood and Never Lost a Dime, and I feel like if he maybe lost at least a nickel, this movie would have been a lot better. So, verdict, it sucks.
Nice.
And snake fact, this was packed with King Cobra.
Okay.
Cobra family 1, it says in the top right, largest and most poisonous of all venomous snakes. This Asian species reaches lengths of up to 6 meters, 20 feet. I can't guarantee the accuracy of these snake facts, but that's what we got. Okay, there we go. That's
all
it for
right.
this episode of Snake Facts.
I'm psyched to hear the other 2 in the coming weeks.
Snakes are archetypically unknowable. So it's dubious to trust a single fact about them
point.
when entire cultures and religions are based around the idea of their duplicitousness. Mm-hmm. So how have these serpents not infiltrated our encyclopedias as well, right? That's the question.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, did you get a good look at the seller?
No.
Yeah.
No, this was eBay. So, the seller could have been a snake, could have been trying to sow seeds of discord.
To quote the late Norm MacDonald, I wouldn't trust a snake on snake-related issues.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So it's episode 350 of Insert Credit, a nice round number. And I would like to celebrate that by doing one of our listeners' favorite kinds of episodes, a ranking episode. We're going to be doing it a little differently this week, though. Instead of nominating games one by one, I'm going to name a franchise, and we're just going to rank all of the main entries in that series from best to worst. How about that? That's this episode.
Okay.
We're going to start with Street Fighter.
I will just pause to say that ranking episodes tend to be the longest ones. So
that's why I've taken out the introductory segment, which is what takes the time.
This one is clearly designed to be modular and procedural and repeatable, right?
So you want us to rank all the Street Fighters?
Yeah, from best to worst.
Okay.
1 through 6.
Well, the only one I've really played is 2, so that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, which Street Fighter?
Which of the 2s?
Yeah.
Turbo Hyper Fighting.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Turbo is the one right before Super, right?
Yeah, before the new challengers.
Yeah, that's the best
Well,
one.
it's not before the new challengers. New Challengers is the second one, I think.
Well, Super is
okay. Like in my head, it's regular, champion, turbo, super, super turbo. Is that the order?
I think that's right.
Super has some new challengers. It's got DJ T-Hawk, Cammy, and Fei Long.
And I thought that was unnecessary. So whatever's right before that is my favorite.
Yeah. When you're playing Street Fighter 2 in the arcade and somebody else comes in and puts in a quarter, interrupting your beatdown of all the guys and the computer controlled opponents, and it says, "Here comes a new challenger." It's just disappointing. As a roly-poly chibis, circa 1991. So therefore, when the new challengers showed up in Super Street Fighter, it just that kind of killed the buzz.
I also think I prefer the original art. And was Turbo the last one to have the art, or did they?
Super had a pixel a cleanup. Yeah, they sharpened everything
and they replaced the announcer voice.
Well, the original art, of course, is Fighting Street Fighter, the first Street Fighter.
Well, we're talking the Street Fighter 2's original art, but yeah. I think Super Street Fighter. So as a person who I've played thousands of video games in my life. I don't know about everybody else here, but you've probably all played a lot of video games, right?
Sure.
I never once in my life, as a teenager or a young person, existed in any kind of a community where people played fighting games competitively and had a good time. it wasn't until I lived in Japan when I started playing Virtua Fighter that I really understood fighting games. So for me, Street Fighter was all about thinking about someday playing competitively, but then never actually doing it, right? So when the new challengers showed up in Super Street Fighter, I was just starting to feel like I kind of got the 12 existing characters, you know? I was just starting to feel like I kind of understood those characters. Then they brought in 4 new ones, and then I slowly started to lose my grip on my understanding of Street Fighter. And that's what happened to me.
Who was the most offensive to you of the new challengers?
I did not like that there was a fake Bruce Lee in the game. And I know it's cool to say that now, but as a teenager, I thought Aldi store brand Bruce Lee, as illustrated by one of the greatest character designers of all time, was just kind of a stupid and baffling inclusion.
Cammy's cool, though.
Cammy's pretty cool. T-Hawk, I don't know, T-Hawk's interesting.
So I would like to request that we merge all of Street Fighter 2 on the overall list, but say that Turbo is the best of Street Fighter 2.
Turbo is the Street Fighter 2 we are using.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's probably the best one, right? I mean,
that's my number one.
Who would disagree?
I might.
Oh, would you think 3 Third Strike is the best one?
I think Alpha 2 Gold is the best one.
Alpha 2 Gold.
Yeah.
We're only ranking the numbered entries here.
There's a number right in there. Anyway, okay. Well, so my favorites are out. So that's good. We got that right out of the way.
Yeah.
So I think we believe that 1 is last, right? I don't think there's any challenge.
Yeah, 1 is obviously last.
Yeah, one's last. It is interesting. Certainly interesting how a special attack was considered so difficult to do at that time because it was a new concept that it would take sometimes 50% of your life bar if you landed it because like they didn't expect people were going to be able to figure it out.
You gotta love that stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So yeah, it's last.
Street Fighter 3's gotta be number 2.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. I don't care.
It's
it
probably
had to be 1
number
or 2.
It's just the stuff that happened at Evo recently in Street Fighter 3. People still finding ways to make that game exciting. It's fun to watch. The deliberateness of it is very nice. It's got beautiful pixel art.
Yeah, I mean it's at this stage in game history. If you're of a certain age, it's extremely cliche. But if you're not, and you're out, you're shopping for an opinion, it's probably the best pixel art. If you want to look at pixel art that looks real good,
it's probably the last pixel art of that budget.
Yeah. AAA pixel art.
Yeah, there was some. You could make an argument for King of Fighters 13, though it didn't start as pixel art. It's pixel art, high def pixel art over 3D models, but it doesn't quite have the frames and the emphasis on like clothing ripples that Third Strike does, or Street Fighter 3 in general. So yeah, we'll say Third Strike. The next one almost certainly would be Street Fighter 4 because that was the beginning of the revitalization of, I would say, fighting games in general.
Not looking good for Capcom here if it's just going down in quality.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more. First of all, it's not gonna. We're gonna. In my opinion,
6 is next. Yeah,
because 6 is next.
Yeah, it's gonna be 6 and then 5, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're if we're only doing numbered Street Fighters.
Yeah, I think 4. I think 6 is better than 4 myself.
But 4 is more like historically interesting. And important.
4 is more. It was more impactful. It made a second impact, you might say.
I'm okay with that, but I feel like a series like Street Fighter is more of a sport than a historical artifact, and therefore I would personally rank them as games playable today, as opposed to ranking.
Well, then we could put 6 in front of 4.
I wouldn't hate that.
All right.
You could put 6 at number 1 probably, but I mean because it's the one that millions of people are literally playing.
6
today.
is pretty great. I wouldn't mind putting it at number 1, but
my 2 things I want to say about 4 are I was a little disappointed that they just brought back for the first release of 4 in the arcade. They just brought back the 8 original characters. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
It was just exactly Street Fighter 2 with new graphics. And then when you look into it a little bit, the story was set between Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 3, which is like
And we've been stuck there, actually. We're still between 4 and 3. It's very...
They really Fast and Furious Tokyo drifted.
Or wait,
Exactly.
no. 6 might be after 3, finally.
I think 6 is the post 3 one.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 is... But yeah, we were kind of stuck there for, a couple of decades, right? Which is kind of wild to think about. That's the one thing that I thought was a little like, what's the point of there even being a story? I don't care about the story.
So
I like the characters.
I actually liked that myself about it starting with the original character. It had some other characters too, but starting with the originals because the idea was to reintroduce Street Fighter with both familiarity and difference, and the difference being 3D and new systems and things. And so
it was the Nintendo Wii era. They were all about getting new gamers or old gamers back.
Yeah.
They were all about getting lapsed gamers back on board with playing video games again. And I remember, at least in Japan, it was treated as like a cultural thing. They're talking about it on TV. They're like, there's a new Street Fighter. It's in arcades. You can play it now. You can play as Ryu. Interview with a little girl on the street saying, I like Ryu. Interview with an old guy on the street. I played as Ryu in 1992. Right? And it's just like everyone just talking about how much they love Ryu and how you can play as Ryu. And I remember my favorite thing to say about Street Fighter 4 is, and I actually feel like this is kind of a fun conversation topic, just apropos of whenever anybody talks about video game art direction or whatever. Can we just say Street Fighter in general consistently has maybe pound for pound the best character design sense of any video game series ever made? That's I don't see another game that has character design sensibility that's as it's fashionable, it's artistic, it's trendy, it's they do a lot of the broad strokes culture, world cultures thing. But my favorite topic of discussion of video game art direction stuff was when Street Fighter 4 came out. You know what I'm building up to. Does anybody want to guess here? There were blog posts. What were the blog posts about, Brandon? Do you remember? Don't be Googling it. I hear somebody typing on a keyboard.
No, I don't remember. I remember people talking about the super arts with the painterly style stuff.
Oh yeah, those looked really cool.
And oh wait, I think there was. This might not be what you're thinking of, but there was discussion of and concern over the goofiness.
Yeah. Okay, what goofiness specifically related to what?
I remember the hit reactions and body deforming and stuff. People were like, this is cartoonish or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're talking about?
Yes. It was a whole discourse.
Yeah.
It was a whole...
and I, again, was like, no, it's great.
Yeah, it's completely insane. People were catching screenshots of in-between frames...
Yeah.
Where Ken's eyeballs are bugging out of his head. Frank Kenstein's eyeballs are bugging out of his head and his mouth is wide open.
Yeah.
And I just remember comments for those, that Gawker readers of that era will know what I mean by grayed out comments. Grayed out comments of guys being like, I used to be a Street Fighter fan and I'm very, very disappointed.
Yeah, so that was real weird.
They would make something so childish and cartoony.
Because that was obviously great.
Yeah, it was obviously great. So I don't want to hear anybody who said that in 2007 complain that video games now all look the same or whatever. I feel like it's the same sort of person.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that there was an 11-year distance between Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 4. And during which time the common thought in video games in general was that fighting games don't sell anymore. And part of it was like down to there not having been any Street Fighters, and the rights went back to the US, and then the US sort of started to spearhead Street Fighter 4, but then it got taken back into Japan and it became a whole thing. And they worked it out. I also remember at the time people hated the intro song for Street Fighter 4, and I was like, listen, it is very annoying to some extent, but you all are going to miss this in like a couple years.
Yeah.
You're going to be loving this song. And now they still play that song at EVO, and it gets everybody hyped up. Like it only took a couple years for people to be like, oh, I love that song.
Yeah.
Do we want to put 6 at number 1? I kind of like that idea.
Let's think about it. Don't we have isn't this the whole episode?
I wanted to go through a different franchise in every 6 minutes, but
See,
How's
Jeffy,
that going?
that wasn't going to happen.
That was a really not very good idea, Jeffy.
Well, okay. If we want to get
That was never going to occur, Jeffy. That was
all
not.
right.
I mean, okay, I just want to say up front, I did not know that. I thought we were going to do 60 minutes just ranking the Street Fighters.
Same. That's why.
In that case, let's just put the alphas in there. Why
That's
not?
why I was talking about alphas. I was like, oh, we're gonna.
All right, it's our Street Fighter episode. Let's do it.
All right, I'll get some work done while you guys are talking.
We can move on. We can move on. We'll move on because we want to get Frank involved.
Let's say a couple of things. 5 was cool because it was PlayStation exclusive. That's not cool, actually. It was PlayStation exclusive, and they had it at launch. It was console first. It was rollback netcode, and I played it at launch for several weeks. It had lots of people to play against really immediately.
I would say it had the roughest start and the worst story mode.
Oh, sure.
But it wound up selling the most. It is the best-selling Street Fighter, which blows my mind.
As far as moments in history go, it ruled for there to suddenly just be a Street Fighter that you could play against, that everyone was united and ready to play, and all your friends and all your internet friends and all of your Twitter acquaintances.
The first Evo final that had Street Fighter V was hilarious because nobody, like the general public, didn't have the game yet or had the game for about 2 weeks. And so the finals were all just like people going, I don't know, I'm going to try this. And so you had Knuckle Dew and what's her name? Ricky Ortiz in the finals. Just like throwing out whatever they could throw because the game was so new that everyone was doing a big optimistic shrug. That was a really fun final, and thanks to 5 for that.
5 was neat. The 6 is really cool because it's the one that millions of people are playing right now, and it's on every platform, and they seem to be doing real right by releasing the new characters. A lot of people, I remember when they announced that Terry Bogard is a Street Fighter character now, and I just remember seeing it in my circles. The response was universally, I wish they would just make a CVS3. It's like, man, that would be cool, but
it would be cool.
What if Terry Bogard was a Street Fighter character and he's there, dude? Now people say his face looks weird. People gotta chill out. His face was always going to look weird.
I think it is neat that Street Fighter has managed to construct a situation where I might say, except for 5, the best and most exciting Street Fighter is the one that's out now. That's good. That's good.
I'm happy to put 6 at number 1.
Yeah, I could put 6 at number 1 for 2024.
Yeah,
it's the number 1 by default. Yeah, put it up there.
I played the demo and I felt they should have given us more stupid hats and stuff to be enticing in the demo. I think there was only one.
Can I introduce you to a little video game called Tekken?
Yeah. Man, you want your stupid hats.
I'm going to do something unprecedented and drop a menu in the chat, and you can select which one of these you want to rank next. How about that?
It's fun. I hope it's photoshopped to look like Mega Man Stage Select.
Doodly doodly doo doo. Frank, you choose.
Oh,
I have to choose.
Well, yeah, so that you can be more, so you can be an involved guy.
Yeah.
I will say there's one that I don't want to do because that should be a whole episode, and that's the last one on this list.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't think anything is fair to all 3 of us.
No, that's fine.
Unfortunately,
I don't care.
So
I've played almost all of every game and all of the series is listed here because I'm an absolute freak. So
I'm gonna go Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear.
Let's rank them.
What is Metal Gear?
1 through 5.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not true.
Really?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, not really.
Let me think.
No, I'm gonna get some work done.
For me personally, I honestly, I'd give it to number 1 first for number 1 personally.
Really?
Yeah. After years,
I don't think I would.
After all these decades of hindsight, what would you give it? Metal Gear Solid 3?
I think so. Like 2 and 3 are kind of the same game in my head. But I think 3 is just a little more interesting. You know, I think the argument for 1 being the top is just how refined it is.
Yeah.
It's just very, you know, but But I actually think a defining trait of the series is how many toys it gives you. And I don't think 1 has all that many toys.
I mean, 5 has all the toys.
5 has too many toys.
Too many toys for a good boy to enjoy is my song that I sing about my dog.
So I feel like 3 is like the correct amount of toys.
Yeah.
I think 4.
Too many narrative toys.
It's I don't know. Metal Gear as a series of levels just doesn't work for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's an intriguing concept in that particular era of the burgeoning era of open worldliness. It's kind of neat that they made the four big zones, you know, with the one being like a Snatcher esque Cold War spy thriller zone, which is fun.
Yeah, it's fun, but it just that one felt like the most messy, like the most navel gazy. Also, maybe.
Oh, sure, yeah. You mean 4 in general?
Yes.
You know what? I'm cool with 4 being all the way on the bottom.
I am too.
4 as the last one.
Even though I played 4 more than I played 5, I think 5's a more interesting game.
As a big Death Stranding fan, I'm a fan of Kojima making sandboxy games. So 5, it kind of is neat. If we roll Ground Zeroes and 5 into the same thing.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I think that's fair.
So I want to put 1 over 2, even though I love 2, and I want to put 2 over 5.
I think I'm good with that. 3, 1, 2, 5, 4.
3, 1, 2, 5, 4, I think would be. That feels pretty definitive. I feel like my recent journeys through video game history, I personally have decided that 1 is probably better for me, but I'm not sure. So I've said 3 for 20 years, you know? So it's and
it's also gun to my head, like play 1 right now, I'd probably go for 1.
Yeah, because it's on PlayStation. There's something about the way it sounds.
It's fun to look at.
The way it looks upscaled on a RetroTink 4K when being played on a Mister through a 77-inch OLED television. It's kind of just a gorgeous looking thing, and I understand that's just exactly the nostalgia of my exact video game generation, right?
The audio in particular, but I'm with you.
Yeah, love it.
All right. I think that's as definitive a ranking as we're going to get. Back to the menu.
Some tasties on here.
Mm-hmm.
There's some good ones on here. I mean, Brandon can pick one if he'd like.
Me?
One of them has a pretty good joke. Let me just say that from me. I have a pretty good joke just off the top of my head from one of them.
Okay. Well, I think one in which we can all participate is, though I have not played all of them, top 5 Mega Mans.
I like that because I think all of us are down on Mega Man, so it's kind of a fun challenge.
Yeah.
People get so mad at me when I talk about Mega Man.
I don't think anyone will agree with my number 1, which is Mega Man 8.
Wow.
Mega Man 8.
I like Mega Man 8 because it has good music and it has fun graphics and it's not trying to do too much stuff. And it's got Dr. Wowie.
Is that Dr. Wowie?
Yeah. So Mega Man 8 has my favorite Mega Man music and my favorite art, and it's the only one I've beaten more than once. So that's my bid, but it doesn't have to be.
I would say Mega Man X7 because it's like so bad. And
wait,
that would just be really, really funny.
I don't think. Can we do X?
Yeah, I don't think we can't do that.
For this specific one, you can do anything that has the words Mega Man in the title.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay, so Mega Man Legends is the actual number 1, but it would be really funny to just put Mega Man X7 as the top one, so that people viewing just the bullet pointed list and the summary would get really upset if they're like diehard Mega Man fans.
Yeah, well, we could put Mega Man 9 in there if we wanted to.
9, dude. I mean, if it's anything with Mega Man in the title, I'm an idiot, and it's Mega Man Legends, and then it's Mega Man Legends 2. Then it's, I guess, Misadventures of Tron Bond doesn't have Mega Man in the title.
No, that's not a Mega Man game. That's a Tron Bond game.
So number 3 would be Mega Man X Command Mission. Wow, which is the rogue-like dungeon crawler.
Yeah, but which is the best Mega Man EXE?
Best Mega Man EXE. The collection.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Whoa.
I'll count
and
it.
then you put Mega Man Legacy Collection
Mega Man Legacy
all the way on the bottom.
Number 1.
No, it has to go on the bottom to absolutely punk the Mega Man diehards who are too defensive about Mega Man. It has to be the number 5.
My actual thought on the actual games is I think the definitive one is 3 if they had like 3 more months to work on it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I would say 5 on, and if being impartial and setting aside my well-documented dislike of Mega Man, which is much exaggerated. I like 5.
5 feels like it was farmed out to another studio, but maybe that's for the best.
Maybe that's why it's better. Remember when Mighty Number 9 was being kickstarted and people were all excited, and I was like, "That's good. That's not going to go well," is what I was thinking. And then when they revealed like a gameplay video and everyone said the graphics were bad, which they weren't.
Which is also the only thing that guy had to contribute anyway, was graphics.
Did they not see the level design? It's just a straight line and then it goes up and then whatever. So wait, hold on. We got
what? Our troll number 1 should be that one that didn't come out.
Which one? That Mega Man Legends 3?
No. What was it called? It was, you could like customize your Mega Man. It was a 2D platformer.
Oh, Mega Man Worlds or something?
Something like that. I don't remember. I played it at Comic-Con or something. It was awful.
Wait, so what if we do Mega Man Legends, Legends 2, Command Mission? What about Mega Man Powered Up?
That's what I was just gonna mention, because that's a very cute one, and you could build your own stuff.
It's a remake of Mega Man 1 with the level editor.
And it's a cute little guy. You're a cute little Mega Man is my favorite type of Mega Man.
If you like Mega Man and you've never played Powered Up, check it out. Check out the level editor. See how easy it is to do better than the people who made the actual game.
That's right.
So 3 staying in here, right? Because I like, similar to Metal Gear Solid, like something about the audio landscape of 3 just makes me feel good.
Well, we can only do 5 of these, so we're gonna have to pare down.
Legends 2, 3 Powered Up Command Mission. How's that?
I need 8.
Oh, right. 8's got to be in there.
8 needs to be in there.
Oh, 8 sucks. 8 is for children, but I mean, whatever.
Got to be in there. Last
Or
one.
putting 8 last.
There we go.
3 is fun to watch on a like when they show all the sound channels at the same time. It just has this unique sound, and it's because there's always 2 channels playing the same note. So there's always one like really textured note or chord or whatever.
Nice.
Okay, we've ranked 3 more. Let's rank 1 more and then take a break. Here's the menu.
All right.
Tim's, you're up. What are you going to do?
Like I said, I played all of these, so I can do whatever. I don't want to pick one that nobody else has played any of.
I mean, I could do Fallout so fast.
Oh, Fallout would be real fast, yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. New Vegas, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 76 is last.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And the vault is even more last.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Vault, Social Vault, Facebook, Fallout Facebook, or whatever it is.
Yeah, Fallout Facebook, they call it.
Fallout Shelter.
Fallout Shelter.
There it is.
Well, those are like spin-offs at that point.
Yeah.
Like, where's Brotherhood of Steel? Where's Tactics? Yeah.
Can we put Fallout TV show between Fallout 2 and 3?
Yeah.
I think it's between 1 and 2.
You think it's between 1 and 2?
Between 2 and 3.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, I'll put Walton Goggins between 2 and 3.
I've watched that TV show twice.
It's great.
Man, do people think Walton Goggins is hot?
Girls
They
do,
do,
yeah.
yes.
That's so cool because we have the same terrible hairline. So
Nice.
keep it up, girls.
Things are looking
Keep
up.
in mind that guys always stress about their hairlines, but there's thousands of examples of men, of virile, sexy men with that hairline over the last 100 years.
Your swarthiness in general outweighs any hairline issues.
You're all fine, everybody. It's guys like me who have to make really complicated decisions about spaghetti made of desiccated clown turds. We've got it rough. Like it's hard to make a choice when it's changing every day like this. If you can just follow Walton Goggins, and you'll do right.
All right, let's follow the Goggins into the break.
Ooh, Gog following.
The following ad supports the Insert Credit podcast, but is not necessarily endorsed by its individual members. This is the Insert Credit Quick Break. I'm Alex Jeffy, and this week's episode of Insert Credit is sponsored by Devil's Blush. The Devil's Blush visual design company presents the Devil's Blush Full Color Book Series. Across 3 full-sized volumes and 1 mini-zine, see hundreds of beautiful screenshots captured from archaic console and arcade games, featuring title screens, item shops, character portraits, skyboxes, neighborhoods, vehicles, enemies, corridors, landscapes, and more. Available now from devilsblush.com. That's DVLSBLSH.com. Imagine the words Devil's Blush in your mind and just take all the vowels out. And if you put an apostrophe in there, take that out too. And that'll get you right there. devilsblush.com. DVLSBLSH.com. Welcome back to Insert Credit. Brandon, I think you're up next. Choose one of these.
I'm up next to choose something. I'm going to choose Doom, and I'm going to be a big weirdo and say that my number one is Doom 64. But the Night Dive Redux with all the quality of life stuff in it.
Well, I mean, you can just say Doom 64. Having played Doom 64 at the time it came out on a Nintendo 64, and having played the Night Dive one, I think it's fine to just call the Night Dive one Doom 64.
Sure. Yeah.
It's what the game should have been.
It's what the game was trying its best to be on the N64.
I think the rules for considering modern versions of Doom are such that Doom is it's the game that can run on anything. It can run on a refrigerator, it can run on a toaster or whatever, right? So basically a modern source port, something like Chocolate Doom or whatever, that's just Doom. You don't consider it a version of Doom, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like Doom 64 by Night Dive, which is sold as a distinct product, et cetera, that feels in the tradition of a Doom source port, you know? It feels in that tradition. It feels like it just is, even though obviously there's tons and tons and tons of work went into it. It just kind of feels like that original game just alive on this particular platform, just kind of Frankensteined into existence.
Yeah.
So Doom 64.
I know that generally Doom 2 would be considered the Doomist Doom, but Doom 64 is a game. It's so playable and so bite-sized tasteable. So too is Doom 2, but Doom 64 just it's got that weirder, more jiggly, strange level design and like mysteriousness that I enjoy. There's a little more exploration, a little more figuring out, and I prefer that style of play to the more exacting Doom 2 figure out how to speedrun this in under 8 seconds, which is cool also. But that's just my personal flavor of enjoyment is all.
I mean, I think Doom 1 would be the number 2 here. I would put Doom 1 on there, especially when you get to like episode 4, like levels like Perfect Hatred, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect Hatred is maybe the best video game level of all time. I'm not sure, but maybe it is, maybe it's not.
That's cool.
Doom 2 is cool as heck. I would go Doom 1, and then I would go Doom 2, and then I would go. How do we want to place Eternal versus 2016?
Personally, I think Doom Eternal, as we have called it, is above 2016.
Oh, okay. I would do the opposite.
I would as well. I had a really hard time with Eternal. Like it felt like Eternal was for pros. You know?
It was like playing pinball with one hand and firing a gun with the other. You know.
Yeah, I noticed that everybody had the opposite experience of me. I think
I played the heck out of it. I beat it 4 times all the way through. I played it on my keyboard with all my guns on my number keys. Which is the best way to play, by the way. But I just feel like switching my guns like mid enemy kill, or like switching to a different gun, like whilst shooting one guy, just kind of it's a new flavor of thing. You know?
I didn't like doing that part. For sure. I thought that the maps being even more Pac-Man maze. And just like figure out how to run around this space. It was like a single player deathmatch in a way. Mm-hmm. I thought that was neat, but yeah. Anyway,
these are all every game we've listed here is a masterpiece of sorts.
I'm
here.
fine with this.
I'm going to propose something weird. How about this?
What's that?
How about we put Doom the Dark Ages, the new one, between Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, even though it's not out yet.
Call that shot right now.
I'm as excited for it.
99% of Doom, if I recall correctly, was knowing a guy who had played it or having seen a picture of it and wanting to play it, right? So I feel like Doom the Dark Ages, which just looks like the stupidest video game anyone has ever made.
Yeah.
But in such a meticulous way, I feel like that's just a real good idea for me. And then obviously we put Doom 3 on the bottom. Not to make
Yeah.
fun of it. Not to make fun of it.
People like to say that Doom 3 is good actually and stuff, but I don't know, man. I played that on the Xbox there, and it is not what I would call fun.
It's missing some stuff.
When you start putting monster closets in Doom, then I don't know. I guess there were technically those in other Dooms, but in this it would be like a guy that's hiding in the shadows that you can't see or interact with until he floomps out of there. I don't know. It just felt very clunky, and the story clearly a stutter step toward doing actual sort of more interesting story like they did in 2016 and Doom Eternal. But they just didn't have it. So yeah.
What if we rank the 90s console versions of Doom? I'd put PlayStation at the top
because of the weird
it's the weird one. Yeah, the weird soundtrack, the weird lighting.
Yeah.
I'd put I think that's really it.
The Jaguar's got to be number 2 because that's what most of the ports were based off of.
Yeah.
And then
put the Game Boy Advance one at the bottom because it's extremely hard to see.
And then you get the Saturn one because that one was also weird for a different reason that I don't remember.
And then 32X because it has cool box art in Japan.
32X because it's got good box art. And then 3DO, even though it's maybe better than the Saturn one after that.
3DO one sucks.
Yeah.
This is getting hard to rank.
Jaguar
That's it. That's
3DO,
all.
3DO is ported from Jaguar.
Yeah, Jaguar was number 2.
Okay.
Yeah. But PlayStation is number 1 because it's just wild.
Yeah.
All right, I'm happy with that. Let's do one more.
Oh wait. Jeffy, those other Dooms that's a separate list.
Okay, fine.
Just to be clear,
Okay,
all
good.
those ports of Doom that's separate from the main list.
All right, fair enough. 64 is our number 1 then?
That's right.
All right. We're going to pick one more game from our ranking list. One more series from our ranking list.
Ooh. Yeah, again, I'm still batting 1,000 here, making me feel like a psycho.
Frank, you want to choose one?
Well, the one I'd have the most to say about is maybe Disaster Report.
Yeah.
Do it.
But I've only really played 2 of them. Okay. We've talked about these a ton. I think we all agree, or at least Tim and I agree, that number 2 is the best one. And the rest are just other versions of the second one, right?
Yes.
So that is by far the definitive one is Raw Danger.
Raw Danger.
Yeah, Raw Danger's just straight up the sweet one.
I've only touched 1 a little bit. I've watched video of 3, and I've played through 4. So that is my experience level here.
I played through a fair amount of 1, and I enjoyed it. And I played through some of 4, and I own 3, but I actually haven't. I never booted it up because it's on the PSP.
Yeah. I would put 3 at the bottom
Okay.
because it felt like a fast follow to 2, and it was on PSP. And I'm a bit of a hater of stuff that had confident power on a home console and then did a really, really fast. I'm not going to call it like a low effort game. They're all wonderful, lovely little video games. But it's like, I don't know, Boku no Natsuyasumi is a great example where the 2 is a masterpiece. 3 is slightly less of a masterpiece because they had a higher budget and they were on new hardware and it's on PlayStation 3 and they lost money. So they made 4 on PSP and it's scaled down and it's still wonderful. But I feel like Disaster Report 3 is very similar in that way. So I would put that at the bottom.
Oh, am I confused? PSP is 4?
PSP's 3.
Okay,
sorry.
PSP's 3 and the Steam one that's recent is
Disaster
4.
Report
Right,
4,
that's right.
I would
Okay.
honestly put that right under Raw Danger. And I know that I feel like more people should play it and decide for themselves. It is easily available to purchase if you'd like. Don't expect a game that runs extremely, extremely well or looks like God darn Alan Wake 2 or whatever, or runs as well as Alan Wake 2 doesn't. Don't expect that, but it is a really neat game. And then I would put Disaster Report 1 under that for simple reason of it just being the old one and kind of the prototype. And I love that one as well.
We could also throw in, if we wanted, the
City Shrouded in Shadow.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that what you were
And
going
one
to say?
more, but, that one can be
What's
next.
that one?
That's the Kaiju one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought they did a couple of those.
They only did one Kaiju one.
Yeah.
Isn't there an Ultraman one?
It's got Ultraman, Godzilla, and Evangelion, and Pat Labor and Gamera.
Yeah, they're
in
all
it.
in it.
Yeah, they're all in there.
Oh, I want to play this.
It's the stupidest, craziest thing. I would put it as a let's call it an extreme honorable mention.
Yeah,
because it's not the same series, but
it's the same vibes.
Thor High Heels has a video about it, which people have linked me to, asking me if I would play this game, but I already had played it when I saw the video.
Back on the show.
I don't know that I'm going to tell people they should play 4, but I am glad I did. But
Yeah.
it's not a good video game.
It's not, no.
But it's funny. And it's, if you don't mind a weird Japanese game experience where you walk around and get annoyed, but there's funny dialogue and stuff, then you might enjoy that.
Yeah, good doesn't matter.
And also, if you play it, if you buy it, then the original developers who broke away from IREM to start their company Granzella get to continue working on Disaster Report 5 and the new R-Type Tactics games. R-Type Final 3 came out last year. I don't know. That's why I would put it right there, because you can get it right now and you can play it right now, and it's not the best one, but you can easily get it and play it.
It's representative enough that if you can, you'll understand what the series is. I feel.
Yeah, and I know these developers. They would very much love your support. They would very much love your support. So
I want to throw one more in here as probably an honorable mention, which is the Pachipara games 12 through 14, where they just threw some raw danger into their pachinko game, where it's like, oh, there's a pachinko game, but also there's a whole adventure game, 3D walking around, life sim. Why not? Let's just put it in there.
Actually, can we put between 4 and 1? Can you put Sakurazaka Shoubotai in there? Which is a game about being a firefighter.
Yeah, it's the game where you show a bow tie.
Yeah, just show a bow tie. Show a bow tie. I'm a big fan of the word show bow tie. Sakurazaka Shoubotai. Also, it's worth pointing out that City Shrouded in Shadow's Japanese title is Kyoei Toshi, which is it has the word Toshi in it. Kyoei Toshi means like city of in fear. City cowering in the shadow of fear.
It has one of the words from the
so
original game.
Not just that, but it ends in the word Toshi. So it's Zettai Zetsume Toshi, and then it's Kyoei Toshi. So the fact that it ends in the same word for city is why it's not an honorable mention. It's an extreme honorable mention. And then Pachipara 1214 is an honorable mention. Wait, maybe Sakurazaka Shoubotai should be a very honorable mention. So we have 3 different honorable mention categories. I would say suits this series well, and also I would say kind of clearly illustrates the problem. Clearly illustrates the problem that they can't settle on. Is it floods or is it earthquakes, guys? Is it earthquakes or is it kaijus, guys? Is it disaster report or is it raw danger? Raw danger.
Get it together. Or if you want to try to complete the Shutoko Highway Battle series in English, you got to get about 15 different English titles to figure out which ones of those games.
Yeah, it's Fast and Furious. Anything involving cars driving fast. It goes by Fast and Furious rules where they never settle on a naming convention.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of time. Do we want to do recommendations this week?
Yeah.
Or was that enough?
Let's do it.
Why not?
I got some Rex. Walgreens potato chips.
Oh, Nice brand?
If you got a Walgreens, check out the Nice brand potato chips, because I keep searching for potato chips that are thin and well cooked. And it is hard to find those because everyone wants really thick ones. But I like the thin ones, and these Walgreens potato chips are now the thinnest ones that I've found.
Do you remember when thick potato chips were invented and they were just advertised on TV? There was this potato chips brand called Crunchers that advertised how they were fried in peanut oil, and there was like an elephant sound effect whenever someone bit into one.
Oh, man.
And it was just this huge, monstrously loud, like breaking glass, breaking teeth, shattering sound. And then everyone on screen, aside from the impetuous youth crunching into the chip, was portrayed as gripping their ears in abject horror at the loudness of the shrieking sound. And I remember just seeing that and being like, how many decades are people going to be annoying about this? And it turned out to be all of them, continuing
several.
until now.
Yeah.
It's the only potato chip they sell at most delis is one that's fried hard.
Yeah.
Cut thick and fried hard.
I guess people like that. This is one of my many learnings about being a human, where it takes me a long time, but eventually I'm like, oh, I guess people like that. They don't hate it like I do. They think it's good.
What's your favorite kind of tortilla chips? Do you get the tortillas that are the really thin ones that like snap, like the ones they have at restaurants with the salsa bowl? Or do you get the ones that are halfway between?
So it depends. Sometimes I get the real thin ones, and there's some that are made like a few blocks away that I like to get.
Yeah.
But I'll just throw this as another recommendation, which I think I've recommended before. Hava chips. I think you can only get them on the West Coast, though. They are corn chips that are kind of in between-ish, thin thickness wise, but they have soy sauce and lime, and
SSL.
They're a pretty neat flavor. They're made in Santa Cruz. Check those out.
Santa Cruz, bro. Heck of a logo.
That's right.
That's that city's official logo, isn't it? My recommendation this week is to let me tell you about this. You don't have to become a tailor, but consider carrying a tiny retractable tape measure everywhere you go. They sell little tiny retractable tape measures. I would get mine out and mess around with it here on camera for to the delight of the yo-yo trick loving co-hosts here on Visible on Camera. However, mine broke because I bought a $4 one on Amazon. And I bought a $4 one on Amazon many years ago, and it just broke yesterday, and I bought another one. So that's why it's on my mind. And I've been refreshing my Amazon page. Do you want to see if it's here yet? Hold on, see if it's here yet. Is it here yet? Is it here yet? Is it here yet? We're refreshing the Amazon page. Delivered. Handed directly to a receptionist. It's down there.
Oh, nice.
Holy Lord, it arrived the 47 minutes ago, exactly, literally. Oh my God.
Those are also good if you go to a consignment store and you want to know if something's going to fit in your apartment or house.
Exactly. Measure your body. Take a shirt you like, and then do what's called a pit-to-pit measurement.
See how long your dog is.
Yeah,
That's
you
fun.
measure how tall your dog is at the withers, as they say in dog
Other
terms.
dogs, like strangers' dogs?
Yeah, strangers'
Yeah,
dogs.
you can measure all sorts of
You
stuff.
just walk up to somebody, you want to know how long your dog is? They're going to say, yeah.
Want to know your dog length, brud? But you can like measure a shirt that you like. You measure from armpit to armpit at the bottom of the armhole, and then if you have a shirt that you think fits you real good, just learn what that chest measure is, and then when you're in a thrift store, you literally don't need to try something on if you measure it. Also measure the height of it. If you like the length of a shirt, just carry a little tape measure around. You can find one for $4 on Amazon that has the most reviews. That's the one that.
And how long will it take to break?
It took 4 years. There's a guy complaining.
That's pretty good.
In the
$1 a
Amazon
year.
reviews, that's like mine broke. It broke after 6 years, and I'm like, man, you should have bought the $12 one. I don't know. Like, there's a $12 one that I didn't buy. I like buying the slightly more expensive thing when I can, but I did not do so for this thing. And I've really been sweating it the past couple days, not being able to measure stuff. What happened was the tab on the end broke off, and then it got sucked inside itself, and now I just can't get it out. So I threw it in there. I dunked it straight into the trash. Ordered one on Amazon, dunked the old one straight in the trash. Not being able to use it for 48 hours, I'm like, oh, I should measure this. And it's like, oh, man. Once you start measuring stuff, first of all, be you an American individual? Perhaps it may interest you to know it has centimeters on one side and inches on the other.
Nice.
Learn what centimeters is. Give it a shot. It's it can be the measly first $4 step toward becoming a worldly person.
God,
right?
I wish I knew what a centimeter or a kilometer was. I just can't stick it
It's
in there. I can't stick
2.54
it in
centimeters per inch. 2.54 centimeters per inch.
I already forgot. It just
5
Yeah.
centimeters is about 2 inches. It's about 10 centimeters per 4 inches.
I think the problem is
give or take a little tiny bit.
having to do math about it is not an approach that works for me. I need to figure out how to intuit it, and I haven't figured that out yet.
This is why you don't do math for it. You measure stuff, and then you just know what centimeters is, and
I'd have to start
is.
doing some measuring.
Start doing them both. I mean, I've told this story many times in my life. I've told it on this podcast several times. But when I first went to Japan, there was a man in a cowboy hat, a huge cowboy hat, bolo tie, sport coat, jeans, big belt buckle, cowboy boots. Okay. And he walked up to a goddarn Coke machine immediately after getting out of customs. And he says to his wife, 120 yen. what's that in dollars? And I just remember thinking, it doesn't matter what it is in dollars. That's how much a Coke costs here. Tell yourself that. Anyway, that you should apply that mindset to a $4 tape measure, which is around 500 some yen right now. At the
Frank, do you have a
exchange
quick
rate,
one?
600 yen, something like that.
Let me think. I just got back from Comic-Con. We talked about that for some bonus content, and I don't know how to turn this into a recommendation, but a lot of people in an environment like that just kind of seem to not be having a good time. I think they're kind of waiting in lines and thinking they need to do, the big, like, expensive, important, bombastic things and just kind of treating it like work, even if they are there for literally work. And you know why I had a really great time? Because I just kind of walked around and met people, talked to artists about their work, just kind of chilled, was a cool dude, made some new friends. Just be a cool person that hangs out is my recommendation.
Oh, that's difficult for a lot of people, but it's cool if you can achieve it.
Yeah, like learning what centimeters is, it's a skill worth picking up.
Yeah, the centimeters thing is arguably a little easier, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think it might be easier to learn what a centimeter is.
I'd like to say, if you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review our show wherever and however you can. You can support us on patreon.com/insertcredit as well to pay everyone involved in this show except Tim. You could also sponsor our show with an advertisement or personal message. It's easy and affordable to do so if you want. You could just contact me at show@insertcredit.com and we'll set something up. You could also join our community at forums.insertcredit.com or find us on youtube.com/insertcreditshow. This episode is edited by Esper Quinn with music by Kurt Feldman. I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Frank Spaldi.
I'm Tim Rogers.
I'm Brandon Sheffield.
And you may now rank amongst yourselves.
Oh, I just thought of something. You can use the tape measure as a conversation piece.
Hey!
Look up how to measure a torso for a sport coat. And then when you're in line at comic conventions, whip out your tape measure and go, how would you like to know exactly what size of ready-to-wear sport coat to buy to a guy?
Combine our recommendations. That's
He'll go, yeah, all right.
You measuring me for a coffin is what I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And then say, no, sir, don't worry. This tape measure is only 60 inches long.